Okay, let's do this. We were talking again last time. I said, look, layers are your friends. So this is what we're going to talk about right now is layers. When you first open a project, it's going to start off with a background layer right here. And you can see there's a little lock on it right now. It's just what it does. This is all italics when it's locked. That means when you come in here and you're on your move tool and you say, I want to pull this thing, you can't grab it, you can't move, you can't do anything. But you look at it and say, well, what if I don't want a white background? I mean, obviously you can just hide it. Oh, can't. It's locked. Okay? Can't do anything. So what you have to do to unlock when you're on something here is you have to name the layer, the background layer. That's the first thing you need to do if you want to get rid of it. Name it. You just double click on the layer. I'll just do it again. See, I just double click. I don't ever call it anything. Just call layer 0. You could even call it background again. It doesn't matter what you call it. Because once you name it, it then becomes an editable piece. Now I can drag this thing around. I can do anything I want to it. Okay? See? I just drug it. Now, that's your first layer. You got a producer. Producer comes to you and says, later we're going to talk about Braxton Miller on the news because he's probably going to win the Heisman Trophy. So let's make sure that we have a piece of artwork available that we can present. Okay? So I got these pieces down here that I pulled off the web. Just a background, picture of Braxton Miller, Ohio State logo, and we're going to build something. I think the easiest way to show you how layers work is to actually build something. Okay? So I'm going to open this up. Just going to drag it right onto Photoshop and it opens it. Okay? Tabbed it right in there. Now, drag it in. Okay? Couldn't do it. See? This layer was locked. Unlock it. Now drag it. Now it'll let me do it. There. Okay? Let's resize everything so it fits the screen. There you go. You know what I don't think I even talked about last time, and I should have when I was going through the tools, because I was like, well, you're never going to use this, you're never going to use that, you're never going to use it. Is your zoom tool right here. You're going to use that, obviously, zooming in and out. So your zoom tool, you can just click and drag. When you click and hold, it'll zoom in automatically. Hold your option key or your alt key, and it'll click and it'll go back. But you can also specify, I want this little corner right here by just say, I want this right here. See, just pick where I want to zoom in at. If you're in another tool, which most of the time I am, I never ever select the actual zoom tool. If I'm in the move tool or if I'm in some other tool, all you gotta do is hit the Apple, it's command. On the Windows machine, you're looking at the control, okay, and then the space bar, and look at that, see? So control makes it into a move tool if you're on something else. So I'm already on this one, okay? So if I'm on the Marquee Tool, control will make that into the move tool, so I can move things around if I wanted to, okay? And then if I'm in some other tool, same deal. I'm in the gradient tool. It always control on the PC, Mac is command, and it'll just let you change the tool into that. So if you hold the control and then hold the space bar when you're on the move tool, okay, it's going to allow you to change it into a zoomy tool, okay, and then option will zoom it out and in, okay, see? Alright, anyways, that was just, again, another thing I didn't talk about was zooming in and out on the last one. I just want to at least cover the bases on that. Now, back to what we were doing here. Layers. As you can see, I dropped this in there, and it flopped it right in on top as a layer. I can hide that, but there's your layer. Your background was of the white, and then the next layer was that one right there. Okay, now I'm going to go into the other images, and just like before, I said, well, I don't need to actually open it up and bring it into Photoshop and then do it. I can just drag it right in. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, there he is. Okay, resize. I'm on the move tool. Okay, place it. It's going to ask you, sure you want to do that? Yeah. On the move tool, resize. See, remember, squishy, squishy. Hold your Shift key to make them bigger. Shift Option will zoom from the middle instead of just the side. See? Let's place them over here. Look at that. It's looking tough. Looking tough already. Now I can just isolate him if I wanted to. And what you don't want to do is start smashing all these layers together, because you may change things around and say, well, actually I want this over here and that over there, so forth and so on. Okay? So now let's go ahead and let's add maybe a name to this, and so people know who he is. Let's add some color bands, the Ohio State colors. So Ohio State, let's do a new layer. See, now I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Trash. Okay. Obviously, if I'm on a layer, I can delete it. Let's just do it. I'm just going to do exactly that. Okay, so this is your trash layer right here. Okay. If I'm on it, I just hit trash. It's going to ask you, should you want to delete this layer? Oh, no, I don't actually. Or I can take this and I can drag it down here, and I can trash it that way if I wanted to. Okay. This one here is the new layer button. Okay, create a new layer. So I can hit that and make a brand new layer. This is a folder button, so I can take this item and this item. And why not? Let's do all three of these items and put them into a folder. Okay? So I can take all three of these, I can just drag them right into the folder. Now they're in folder. So now I can drag the entire group of stuff instead of just having individual. So I can keep things together if I want, which is very handy, because what I'll end up doing sometimes is I'll make text layers and I'll make them into paragraphs or something, and I know I want to keep those together all the time whenever I move them. So let's just bunch them up. Okay? So I'm going to take these out of there for now just to eliminate some confusion, and I'll end up making something that'll use that folder. This one right here is your adjustment layers. You probably will never use this, just so you know. This is more of an advanced feature. Okay, and this one is your mask layer. This is kind of cool. This one, when I first started off and doing Photoshop, was kind of a mystery to me, because I read about it and I read about it, and I wanted to do the simplest things, and I never understood exactly what they were talking about here. Okay, and I'm going to delete this because I don't want it on there. Delete. Yes, I'm sure I want to do this. Okay, I want the mask on this layer instead, which is Braxton Miller's layer. Okay, and you can see this. I don't know. Can I zoom in more? Yeah, I can. Good. Okay, so what you're looking at here is black and white. Now, in TV, and this is again, instead of being masked in TV, they always call things alpha layered, which is interesting. If you look here, you can see that this is checkered pattern over here behind Braxton Miller. That means it's all clear. Everything's clear or transparent except for Braxton. I always called it opacity and transparency until I came to TV, and then all of a sudden it became alpha, which is, again, just same thing, just different way of calling it, Some people say rubbish, some people say garbage, that kind of thing. Alright, so here's your mask layer. White means you can see it, and black means you can't see it. Okay, so when you look at this, and I say, well, let's fill this thing with black instead, now he's still there. You can see that he's still there. But now if I zoom back out a little bit here, I said a little bit, not a lot. I don't know why this is. Okay, let's zoom that back out, and you can see that you can't see him anymore, because I've told by using this mask that I want this to be not visible. Everything black is not visible, everything white is visible. Okay, I'll make it all white again. There he pops back in. Braxton? Pops Baxton? Alright, well, whatever. It works. Okay, so that's what happens. Now, I can actually come in here and I can tell parts of this to show up and parts of it not to show up just by coloring in. Okay, we're going to do the brush tool. And I know I said last time you probably won't hardly ever use this, but you might in this kind of a situation, I guess. Make sure I'm on here. Okay, I'm clicking right on there. Layer mask display. Okay, not here. I know it's here. I'll zoom in again so we can see what's going on. Make sure you are on here. See the little brackets popping around it? Not there. Because if I'm on here, I'm going to end up painting the picture. I don't want to paint the actual picture. I want to paint the mask. Okay? So let's go back. I want to paint black or white. You'll notice colors will change. Like I can, here, let me change this. If I were painting with just a paintbrush, blue, you'll see the colors of blue. And if I was on this layer and I hit B for my brushes and I tried to paint on it, it would start painting blue. Okay? That's not going to be good. I don't want to do that. But as soon as I click on here, pay attention down here on this section. As soon as I click on there, see it changed to black and white. Because it knows, hey, this is a mask. I'm going to mask something out, obviously. Okay, so now if I paint with white, let's do the white first. Okay, paint with white, nothing's happening. Okay, now let's paint with the black. See, I'm painting them away. Painting them away. Let's zoom in. I'm going to zoom in again because I think this is important. This is extremely important and sometimes not explained well enough online. Black, I can't see. White, I can see. Okay? Did I say that right? Black, I cannot see. White, I can see. Alright? So, he's still there. All I got to do is just paint him back in again. Okay? It's still there. Hasn't gone anywhere. He's just been hidden from vision by masking him out. Okay? But he's absolutely still there. So, that's kind of a nice thing to have, because what you don't want to do, remember I was saying before, I'm going to duplicate this to show you what I mean. What I was saying before about I hardly ever use the erase tool, because the erase tool is permanent. Okay, when you do something with the erase tool, that sucker's gone. That's it. Now I've lost him. I cannot get him back anymore. That's it. What if for some reason when I did undo, so I cheated there. I could obviously get him back. But what if I moved on to another thing? What if I wanted to change his, I don't know, whatever I wanted to do. It was just a bad cutout job, and I took his elbow off. And then I moved on to something else, and I couldn't go back. His elbow is just gone. There's no going back. But if I masked it out instead of doing the, cutting out in here, then I could add that back in without a problem. Okay? Because it's still there. It's just masked, right? I think I've said that a couple times now, so I just wanted to make sure that was obvious as to what I was saying over and over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, because now if I color them out, okay, see, X, bring them back. Hey, okay, this was extremely helpful when you want to do things like gradients and you want to fade things into the background. Let's say you wanted to have a red. Okay, here we go. We're going to use another layer now. Okay, I'm going to do it right now. Let's say we wanted to have a red layer, and red on the top, and then it just fades into the black. Okay, for some reason you wanted to do that. Let's do that. I made my new layer just by clicking on this new layer button. Create new layer. Alright, let's change this color. I clicked on this, and that made me change it. Let's make it this cool Ohio State red color here, okay? Say that, and then I'm going to fill it. Come up here and say, Edit, Fill. Okay? Fill with the foreground color? Yeah, I'd like to fill the foreground color. There, I just filled the entire thing up, though. But I don't want the entire thing. I only want half of it to show. Okay. Well, then put the mask on, and then come over here to your gradient tool, and then make sure you click on the mask, and then drag from top to the bottom, like that. Of course, nothing works right the first time unless I double check everything. My gradient was set to a radial, so it actually, if you look at the picture here, it went from white circle in the middle to black on the outside. So let's make sure it's a linear. Although that does look pretty cool, I gotta say, to do that fade out. Let's do a linear. See, there's your picture. You can see the linear and the radial. Okay. So let's go back to here and let's fade it from the top to the bottom again. There we go. See, it's a nice even fade. And sometimes you're going to have pictures that you want to put in here, and you're going to want to fade them from top to bottom. You know, let's like him. Let's fade him out at the bottom. See? Ooh, look at that. He like disappears like a ghost down to the bottom. That kind of thing. Just kind of an effect and a cool thing to do. All right, let's get rid of this because I don't want that there. See what I did there? I had my choice. I can either click on the layer itself and say delete, and it's going to prompt me, or I can drag it down. I don't know why. I just always drag. I just think it's a habit I've had forever, and I just do it all the time now. So, all right, let's do an Ohio State type band in the middle here, okay? Let's put that over here. We're going to make a new layer right above the background, the black background. New layer, and I'm going to then, this is the Marquee Tool I'm going to be on, okay? Marquee means select, so I will select an area here, okay? Bam. And then I'm going to fill it, edit, okay? And you can come into, edit, fill. You can do that, or what I always do, because again, I'm used to this, Option, delete will fill the foreground, and Control, delete will fill the background color, okay? So Option, delete, fills it right in there, okay? Yay, me. Now, I have a new layer. I can move it anywhere I want to on here. Okay, once it's there, I can hit the move tool, and you can see it puts that little bounding box around it. I can move it up and down, do whatever I want to it. Okay, or I can resize it. See? Resize. You can see I use my Option key a lot. A lot. Why would I just drag this and then come down here and drag that and then drag this and move it and turn it? That's silly. Just make it. There you go, like that. Okay? Now the middle band in Ohio State is red. Make it smaller. Okay? Like so. Okay? And now let's do some white bands. Okay? I'm going to duplicate this one. No, I'm not. I don't want to confuse you too much. Let's just do the same thing we did before. Let's do this and make it about that big. Change my color. Make it white. Now I have to be careful here. Okay? I don't want to put it on this layer. Because if I put it on this layer, then it's part of the layer. I can't get rid of it unless I go and actually delete it. So I'll make another new layer. Okay, and I will fill that with a white. Okay, move that down. Looks starting to look more Ohio Statey. Okay, and then we'll take this, move this one down. I'm just using my arrow keys to move it down and nudge it into place. Alright, now I want all of these to be in the same group. Every time I move the red or the white, I want them to move together now. Okay, so what I can do is I can select this layer, and then I can hold shift and I can click the other ones. Okay, and it selects them all. Now let's say this was up here for some reason. Okay, I can click that layer, then I can click the control key and group them all together. Okay, that allows me to skip a layer. Because if I do shift here and I hold down and I hit shift down here, see, it automatically selected all those. I don't want that one in there. Okay, so let me just get those together. Now that they're together, I can hit Control G on a PC or Command G, and I'll just group all those together. Okay, grouped them all together. Now I could have just made the folder and then grabbed all of them individually and put them into the folder. But again, why? Just select them, hit Command G, you're done. Alright? Now, that's in there. Looks pretty cool. Let's change the opacity of the layers. Again, this is why we're doing these layers, so you can see what's going on with everything. This is your opacity up here. Okay? Right now, opacity, sorry, just in case nobody is unaware, that just means how transparency, how much you can see through it. Okay, so I can individually come in here and change each one of their opacities down. I can change this by clicking on this. Instead of 100, I can drag it down to, you know, to whatever, and then and do each one of them that way. Or since I want them all to be the same, I can grab the group that I created, the folder, and I can drag the whole thing down like that. Okay? So I want to kind of see through what's going on here. That's too much though. I still want the red color. I don't want it to be ridiculous. I just want to barely see some stuff through there. There we go, like that. See, so it gives a little bit of depth going on. Alright. There. Alright. So now we're gonna come in here and we're gonna type some text. We're gonna put his name in, obviously. Okay, now as soon as I click on the canvas, it's gonna automatically put a new layer in over here. Okay? Click. There you go. Okay, made a new layer. Like just like I said it would. And now I can start typing whatever I want. Okay? So B. Where's my B? Where is it? It's there. Oh, it's so small. It's so small. Why can't I see it? Let's change this up. Because it's a 1.45. Let's change it to like a 14. Oh, bigger. Make it bigger. Okay. There we go. Even if I select it, look at this. This is kind of cool. Select it, and then I can come up here, and I can just drag, click and drag, and I can see it get bigger, 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 bigger. Okay? Cool. And then I can change, oh, sorry, window. Let's go to paragraph is one of your options, and character is one of your options. Character is right there. See, it just disappeared. Character will bring up your font information, and then paragraph will bring up your alignment information. It was already selected. It's already on the screen. So I can center, I can left justify, right justify, so forth. I'm going to left justify, okay? Now I'm going to go back up here and pick my font. I don't really care for this font. It's not exciting. I care for this font. It's too sweet, okay? Get right into there. And again, watch what I can do. I can just scroll through and pick a font that I enjoy better than that. All right, let's do that one. I like that one. So there's that font, and then there's it's a font family, so there's tons of options here. Okay, but we'll stick with that one. So when you see B for Braxton, anybody remember how to spell his name? Braxton. Okay. Okay, Braxton Miller. Right there. Now I'm gonna put his second name, obviously his last name, and I'm just gonna do Miller. Wow, that is horrible. Why does that look like that? Well, because again, I have a 87 point font, and I only have a what's called leading space between the first line and the second line. So the space, when you're reading a book, there's a certain amount of space between your lines of font, and this one's telling me you have a really small one. So generally start at auto. Okay, whew, there you go. That's a little better. So they're not on top of each other now. Okay, I actually had extra space in there, even they were still on top. Okay, so now I have a little bit more breathing room. Now let's take this font in the same family, and we'll just make it bigger. Okay, we'll call it the super version of that one. And now again, I'm going to make it bigger, bigger, bigger. Miller, Braxton Miller. Okay, and now same as before, I was dragging this to make it bigger, and I can see now I can go to the leading and I can make it bigger, smaller. Okay, see, it's easier for me to see this way. Beautiful. Now let's take this and make this smaller. Okay, Braxton Miller. Now you're like, oh, that's too much, too tight right there. Okay, no big deal. Make it a little more space. So there's a little more breathing room. Look at that. That is such a Buckeye thing going on there. Look at that. It's looking good. Okay, now when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, you know what? I think that those white lines are too fat. So let me just shrink it up a little bit. And then I could be real precise and make a duplicate it and make it that way, but I'm not gonna do that right now. There you go. It's close enough. Okay. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's looking very professional. Let's add the Ohio State logo though to the back. Just in case this was gonna air in like Vermont and they don't know what the Ohio State Buckeye logo looks like. Okay, so let's take this one here. We're going to use one of our tools again. We're going to use the magic wand tool to select everything white. When I mean everything, I mean everything. You can see this is not selected in here. So you got your couple options. You can either hold your shift key to add, which is a solid option. You can do that. Or you can go to select up here and hit similar. It's going to grab every single white thing. Okay. Sometimes that's obviously faster, but sometimes if I'm selecting a yellow and there's orange things in there, it may grab all of those too. Okay, my layer is locked. Can't do anything about it. Unlock it. Okay, now I hit the delete key on my keyboard and it's going to delete everything that's selected. Boom, deleted. Okay, move to the move tool over here and I'm going to drag this piece of artwork that I just cut out, the Ohio State logo, over to here. Okay? Oh, well that was kind of convenient that it actually kind of put it in the right spot. Not all the way. You can see that, you know, by looking at here, you can see that it's on top of the band. I don't really want it on top of anything. I want it all behind. Everything behind. On the actual wood grain. Okay? I wonder if that's too big or too whatever. We're not going to worry about details like that. Okay? So now I can take this and I can knock down the opacity really far. So you just barely see a little bit of texture in the background there. You're like, oh, look at that. That's Ohio State, all right. Look at that. You can totally see what's going on. So now you have a piece of artwork, Photoshop format, all the layers going on. We used the grouping to keep all that together. We have our Braxton Miller here on top of that layer. Obviously, if I pulled it down below the again, clicking and holding, click and hold, you can see it's going to go, oh, look, you want to put it in the folder. No, oh, you want to put it under. Now he's underneath the stuff. That would be bad. It's just layers of stuff put in place. That's the top layer. This one's hidden. It's not even showing. I don't even know what it looks like. It's just a version of him. Let's delete it, shall we? Unnecessary hidden layer. Looks like it was a duplicate layer. And then you would save it. Okay? File. Save as. I'm going to save mine to the desktop, not to the weather radio folder. To the desktop. I'm going to call it Miller. I'll call it B. Miller. B. Miller? D. Miller was a wide receiver for the Buckeyes, so I better call it just Braxton. Don't want to confuse people. Braxton M. I don't think there's too many Braxton M's out there besides him, so. Save. There you go. And then, of course, you would save this as a PNG or some other format that's flattened down so it's not a huge Photoshop file, or a format, obviously, that somebody can use. That, I think, is it. I think we're done for this one particular lesson.